Yeah, man, we got into the business when we were like, I say 10 and 11 years old. It was like a really gradual process, without throwing your clothes on backwards or whatever. JD, I think he had like, one day he had just came through Chris' house or whatever with his pants on backwards. And just telling us, check this out, check this style out. And
what's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah? Jermaine Dupri, king of them, if you ask me, baby.
Duo introduced the trend of wearing pants backwards. The video would also be a poignant example as to why many other people in the 90s began sporting their clothes backward.
Maybe you can turn around now?
I mean, like, around the neighborhood we would dance and sing a little bit, but I mean, we really got into it a lot when we met Jermaine Dupri, our producer.
Okay. This is why kids should not be in the music industry. It is alleged that in 1993, Jada Pinkett not only sold weed to Kelly, but also slept with him. Him being 15, her 22.
You think Jada Pinkett was entangling? She was entangling with Chris Kelly.
Kris "Daddy Mac" Smith, one half of the legendary 90s rap duo Kris Kross, is finally speaking out about what really happened to his late friend, Chris "Mac Daddy" Kelly. His revelations add to the disturbing stories of young stars being exploited and abandoned in the industry. For years, rumors have swirled that Kris Kross were victims of manipulation by figures like their former mentor Jermaine Dupri, Diddy, and even Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, those whispers may hold more truth than anyone realized. Chris and Kris were just 11 and 12 when they were discovered in an Atlanta mall, thrust into stardom with baggy clothes, platinum records, and their global hit jump. But behind the fame, the price they paid was devastating. Mac Daddy's tragic passing in 2013 was ruled an overdose, but fans believe his struggles stemmed from deep-seated trauma from his early career. Even if he did OD, many suspect the industry pushed him to that breaking point. While Jermaine Dupri has denied any wrongdoing, unsettling allegations have surfaced regarding his role in Kris Kross's downfall. Then there's Jada Pinkett Smith, who allegedly had an inappropriate entanglement with Chris Kelly when he was far too young. So, what really happened behind closed doors? Was Mac Daddy's fate sealed by the dark side of the music industry? As more details emerge, the truth about Kris Kross's rise and fall may finally come to light.
Were kids in an adult industry. Even Jermaine Dupri, who played a fatherly role for the boys, was in his early 20s himself, so they were bound to be exposed to something they weren't supposed to eventually.
I can tell you who he smoked his first joint with. I can tell you who he had his first drink with. I can tell you who he's with when he had sex with somebody who put him up to that,
These days, Kris "Daddy Mac" Smith rarely speaks about Kris Kross or his late friend, Chris "Mac Daddy" Kelly, and it's completely understandable. The two met in first grade and were like brothers long before fame changed their lives forever. Losing Mac Daddy was a devastating blow, and Daddy Mac has mostly kept his grief private. However, in a rare recent interview, he finally opened up about his loss. When asked how he copes, he shared that music helps him heal, but he also can't stop thinking about everything they endured as kids in the industry. When we entered the music business, we had to grow up fast, working, performing at a young age, he said. While he didn't go into detail, his words reignited interest in the disturbing rumors and allegations surrounding Kris Kross's time in the industry. Now, fans are taking a closer look at what really happened behind the scenes and whether these two young stars were victims of industry predators. Chris "Mac Daddy" Kelly and Kris "Daddy Mac" Smith were only 11 years old when producer Jermaine Dupri discovered them in 1990. Just a year later, they skyrocketed to fame with their massive hit jump. The song dominated the airwaves, music videos, and the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 consecutive weeks, eventually going double platinum. But their success didn't stop there. Kris Kross released 3 studio albums, all produced by Jermaine Dupri, and each one was a major hit. Their debut album, Totally Crossed Out, went multi-platinum. Their second album achieved platinum status, and their third earned a gold certification. And if that wasn't impressive enough, Michael Jackson personally invited them to be the opening act on his Dangerous tour. There's no doubt that Jermaine Dupri had a talent for discovering and developing young artists. Under his guidance, Kris Kross became one of the biggest acts of the early 90s and the youngest stars to take over the music industry at the time.
Say hip-hop array, and the winner is my posse, Kris Kross.
Hey yo, first of all, we want to thank God for making all this happen. Next, we want to thank our fans, because we wouldn't be here today, for selling 5 million records too.
But there's a darker side to the story. When Chris Kelly tragically passed away from a suspected overdose in 2013, disturbing rumors began to surface. Many speculated that during Kris Kross's rise to fame, they may have been exploited. Some believe Mac Daddy's struggles with substance abuse were his way of coping with deep-seated trauma from his childhood in the music industry.
No word on a cause of death. 34-year-old was found unresponsive at his home. Kelly, together with Chris Smith, shot to stardom in 1992 with the song Jump. The track spent 8 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. The member of Kris Kross were known for wearing their clothes backwards during performances. They also toured with Michael Jackson and even had their own video game. Kelly and Smith were 13 years old when they were discovered in 1991 at an Atlanta mall by producer Jermaine Dupri.
So, what really happened to Chris Mac Daddy Kelly? Was there ever any real proof that he was harmed by shady figures in the industry? On April 29, 2013, Chris Kelly was found unresponsive in his Atlanta home. He was rushed to the hospital, but despite efforts to save him, he tragically passed away 2 days later at just 34 years old. His family later told police that he had struggled with substance use for years. Losing such a talented artist at a young age deeply affected fans and the music world. At Mac Daddy's funeral, Daddy Mac gave an emotional speech, remembering him as a kind and loyal friend who always looked out for those around him.
You know, this been like a struggle for me every day. But you know, this morning when I woke up, this peace came over me. Cause I know Chris is in heaven with our Heavenly Father. And Donna, I just want to say to you that you've always been like a mother to me. You know it. And I know I can't fill Chris' shoes, but I'm always gonna be here. So I just wanted to say say one thing about Chris. You know, we had too many memories, so I'm not gonna try to go through the 30 years that we kicked it. I just wanted to talk about the last time we was on stage. So right before we go on, right, I'm on the right side, Chris on the left, and it's like seconds before, you know, we're supposed to come on time, right? But Chris runs over to my side, and he say, "Stay focused." So I'm like, "What you doing, man? The curtain's about to come up." But, you know, Chris, he didn't sweat nothing. He wasn't all anxious or nothing. He just slowly walked to his side. And you know, that's the Chris I always knew. He was a true friend, you know. He wanted to see if I was alright. You know what I mean? So I just want to say I love you, man, and I'm gonna miss you dearly. You know, I could say Kris Kross forever, but I know without Chris, my life, it ain't gonna never be the same. But I just hope our legacy for hip hop is never forgotten. But I'm gonna do my part though, to make sure Chris memory live on.
When it comes to Jermaine Dupri, his response to Chris Kelly's passing had fans talking, and it didn't take long for some unsettling theories to emerge. Just a day after Chris Kelly's tragic death, Jermaine posted a heartfelt letter to fans, saying that Chris was like the son he never had. He wrote, "Asterisk to the world, Chris Kelly was Mac Daddy, but to me, he was the son I never had. When I think about it, I spent more time with Chris and Chris than damn near anybody in my whole life. So you can imagine how bad this hurts. I will always love you, Chris, and I will never let the world forget you. May God bless your soul." Asterisk, but when Jermaine sat down with Vlad TV in 2018, fans noticed something off about his reaction when discussing Chris Kelly's passing. First, when Vlad asked how old Chris was when he died, Jermaine seemed unsure and couldn't give an exact age. Fans found this odd, considering Chris was such a major part of his career and someone he had once referred to as a son. This only fueled speculation about what really happened behind the scenes of Kris Kross's success.
Right, yeah. And then one of the members passes.
No.
Not right after, but years later.
Yeah, years later.
He passes at a relatively young age. Was it 30-something?
Yeah, I think so.
But that wasn't the only thing that raised eyebrows. When Vlad asked if Jermaine had kept in touch with Chris over the years, he became visibly uncomfortable and fidgeted, making fans wonder if there was more to the story.
Did you see that coming at all? Were you guys still in contact?
No, I didn't see that coming. We was in we had just did the 20th anniversary, so it was like, we had just started, having much more dialogue about them going on tour and doing other things after the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, it was a tragedy.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a tragedy.
Jermaine Dupri's bizarre reaction to questions about Chris Kelly set off a wave of gossip and speculation. Fans couldn't get over how strange it was that he didn't know Chris's exact age when he passed, or how visibly uncomfortable he became when asked if they had stayed in touch. Naturally, this led to a flood of questions. What was really going on behind the scenes? Why did Jermaine seem so uneasy? To be clear, Jermaine's reaction doesn't prove he did anything harmful to Chris Kelly. However, that didn't stop rumors from spreading, and many couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than what was being told. Meanwhile, fans began looking deeper into Kris Kross's history, and what they found was disturbing. It appeared that Chris and Chris had been exposed to some troubling things in the industry, and Jermaine didn't seem to do much to protect them. After Chris Kelly's tragic passing, fans dug up old Kris Kross interviews from the early 90s. They noticed that when the duo first rose to fame, Chris Kelly was outgoing, full of smiles, and radiated confidence in every interview. But just a few years later, the change was shocking. He started appearing withdrawn, quiet, and burdened, as if he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. Fans couldn't ignore the drastic shift and began wondering what kind of dark experiences had taken such a toll on him.
Our schoolmates are still our friends, and the other half of our schoolmates are jealous. And then you have some of your schoolmates that are looking up to you saying that they want to be like you. And they're going to start their own group and stuff like that. And will you help me out?
For years after Chris Kelly's heartbreaking death, rumors continued to swirl about Jermaine Dupri, whether he personally did something shady to Kris Kross or simply stood by while others in the industry took advantage of them. Then, Jermaine finally decided to address the allegations. He fired back at a fan who left a comment on one of his Instagram posts. The fan wrote on a since-deleted post, asterisk, yeah, 17 years ago you were messing with Kris Kross. Even had a lawsuit, which they won, but it was kept from the public. Asterisk Jermaine quickly clapped back, saying, asterisk, you must be out of your effing mind. I should sue you for writing this disrespectful stuff on my page. F out of here. Asterisk, but here's the wild part. Jermaine never actually took legal action against anyone over these claims. And over time, the rumors started to fade. That is, until Cat Williams stirred the pot. Cat didn't just hint at something. He outright called Jermaine a predator. Back in 2011, a video surfaced of Cat freestyling, where he called out the usual suspects like Diddy, Steve Harvey, and most shockingly, Jermaine Dupri, going so far as to call him the king of predators.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah. Jermaine Dupri, king of the files, if you ask me, baby. Shh.
At the time, most people brushed off Cat Williams' claims, with some saying he was just wilding out or under the influence. For years, the media worked hard to paint Cat as unstable, making it easy to dismiss his comments about the industry. But now, with major industry figures being exposed for all kinds of depraved behavior, fans are looking at Cat's words about Jermaine Dupri in a whole new light. We can all agree that what Cat accused Jermaine of is one of the worst allegations imaginable. It's serious defamation, something that any public figure would usually be quick to take legal action against if the claims weren't true. But here's the thing, Jermaine never addressed Cat's King of PDF Files comment. And that's what makes it even more suspicious. This is the same Jermaine Dupri who threatened to sue a random fan on Instagram for suggesting he did something shady to Kris Kross. Yet, when Cat Williams publicly called him out in one of the most damning ways possible, Jermaine stayed silent. Now, with the rumors about Jermaine and Kris Kross resurfacing, fans are starting to connect the dots to other industry horror stories, like the disturbing allegations surrounding Usher's time at Puffy's Flavor Camp.
Michael Jackson.
But to become a star, he had to spend a year with a man he barely knew.
You've changed your name to Love. I have become Love. Okay.
We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
Do you feel like that took away from your childhood at all?
Flavor Camp was Usher's last chance at having a career.
Giving up is not an option in life. There's always a way.
The allegations are absolutely horrific. Were you the only kid at Puffy Flavor Camp?
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, accused of striking and assault.
But Usher didn't just survive Flavor Camp. He thrived from it.
On top of that, people have noticed how Jermaine Dupri initially stayed silent when Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy dropped. But when Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes in March, Jermaine actually came out and defended him. Let's rewind to May 2023. Jermaine was hyped to announce that he and Diddy had finally set a date for their highly anticipated Versus battle. The event was supposed to go down in September 2023, but Diddy abruptly canceled it. Many now suspect Diddy got a heads up that Cassie was about to hit him with her lawsuit in November and decided to lay low. As for Jermaine's response to Diddy's legal troubles, he initially avoided making any comments. But once Diddy's homes were raided and reporters pressed him about it, Jermaine got super defensive, going so far as to bring up Donald Trump, almost as if he was suggesting that Diddy was being unfairly targeted.
I want to ask you about everything happening to Diddy. Were you surprised when you heard about the raid?
Yeah, I was. I was surprised about the raid. I mean, I think that it's a foolish act that nothing happened, so it's like, why? I don't even understand all the commotion. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he's been sued a lot, but we don't know exactly what's going on.
Everybody Donald Trump gets sued every day. You know what I mean? So I just don't know. I don't know why they're making it so serious. Like it seems like, you know, like I say, celebrities and people of power and money, they get sued all the time. It's not something that is like, it's not the first time this has ever happened.
Some people are saying if the federal government is doing the raid, they must have something on it. You think you did it? You think you did anything illegal?
I don't buy it. I don't think so.
But hold up. Jermaine and Diddy aren't the only industry figures who allegedly preyed on Kris Kross. We also can't forget about the rumored female predators, specifically Jada Pinkett Smith. According to multiple insiders, Jada may have taken advantage of Chris Kelly when he was just starting out. Now, we all know Jada is usually quick to clap back at any shade thrown her way, but strangely, she has remained silent on these serious allegations. Rumors about Jada and a young Chris Kelly have been around for years, but they recently resurfaced thanks to rapper Daz Dillinger. Daz, who worked closely with Tupac and produced his legendary album All Eyes on Me, dropped a bombshell in a recent interview. He claimed that Jada had an entanglement with Chris Kelly back in 1993. If true, that would mean Chris was just 14 or 15 years old at the time, while Jada was 21 or 22.
Jada Pinkett was entangling she was entangling with Chris Kelly on Mother Kris Kross, because Kris Kross was in the room and he was like, Jada Pinkett is at the door, but don't leave. Take this weed. Chill. We like, damn, this mother gave us an ounce of weed. We're gonna kick it right here. Then he came back in, he said, yeah, that was Jada Pinkett. I'm like, damn, this Jada Pinkett at a young age.
Remember when Jaguar Wright claimed she heard stories about young men running away screaming from Jada and Will Smith's house, all because of their so-called mentorship?
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming.
With all these disturbing stories about Kris Kross resurfacing, especially after Jermaine Dupri publicly defended Diddy, fans are starting to connect the dots. Could there be truth to what Cat Williams said about Jermaine? And was Chris Kelly's tragic passing really the result of trauma he faced as a young star in an industry full of predators? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss this next video.